Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Lynn Wilson and I'm glad we're chatting tonight. Get your coffee, get a nice little quilt if it's cool where you are, and come join me for a little chit chat. We are definitely in cold weather here. We went from 90s, like low 90s, and in 3 days down to 68. So we're all feeling a little like, ooh, chilled. But it's all good. It's all good. The fall weather is settling in here in New Jersey, and I'm enjoying that fresh, crisp air when I leave the house around 6:30, quarter to 7 to head to work. Oh, it smells so good. We are in definitely a new season here in New Jersey with the fall, but the Wilson household is under a new season. September has always been my kind of new year. School starts, the clubs get back into gear, all that kind of stuff. And it's just been my time to sort of say, I'm going to start fresh here in this season. I don't like New Year's and the resolutions. It just does nothing for me. So I had to invent my own New Year, and my New Year starts in September. So I always look for opportunities to start fresh and to start anew. We have lots of things happening in the Wilson household. We have a ton of projects, which I will be sharing with you in some up and coming videos and showing you some of the projects. We're doing the decluttering, we're doing some reorganizing and all the rest, but we have some major projects going on around this place as well. And one of the things that we are doing is we have reorganized our finances, a few different things that we've done, and I'm not going to go into that, but it's been beneficial to us. One of the other things to do with our finances is we are trying to think through better ways to be frugal but not feel kind of empty at the other end. I work hard for my money, but I want to be able to enjoy the money I've worked for as well. So I came up with 10 things that we are doing in our home, in the Wilson household, to better live life frugally, but without the guilt. How does that sound? So here's my 10 tips for you. Get a piece of paper, get a pen, pause the video if you need to, maybe jot them down. I don't know if it's worth anything to you, but I'm going to give them to you, and hopefully, even if you found one of them helpful, one tip is always a good tip, because if it makes you do something a little bit better, that's a success. So, number one, buy better and it will last longer. Now, that's not always the case, but there are certain things that if you bought maybe a better appliance, we've gone on the cheap. Now, sometimes you just don't have the money to buy better, and you have no choice. You have to buy cheap. But if you can, wait a little bit longer, or get a good sale, or get some coupons, or whatever you need to do to buy a better item, a lot of times that can last you that much longer. So that's an option. Number two, use up what you have and look around of things that you've stored up, such as food, clothes, and toiletries. Those are the things that came to mind. I have a fully stocked pantry. I need to use up the food I have. Now, granted, if I'm going to get a good sale, I'm going to get a good sale and I'm going to pick that up. But use up what I have before I just go, let me just go blow $200 and buy food just because. No, use up what I have. Even clothing. Is there some clothes in the closet you haven't worn? Maybe you didn't really like them and you're like, Well, before you go out and spend money, start using up what you have. I am determined to wear an outfit once. If I definitely don't like it, it goes in the Goodwill bin or thrift shop bin or whatever. Or I'm not so sure, I'll allow myself like a second, maybe a third time wearing it. And then sometimes it's just a matter of maybe accessorizing it differently, or wearing a different jacket, or whatever, wearing it in a different manner. And I can find that, that shirt really does work, but it works better with something else. But even then, after the second or third time, I'm going to get rid of it. But I'm finding I'm using up what I have more, and it's prolonging me having to buy more clothing more. Number three, find alternative ideas in your own home. If you want to change something up, I've talked about this many times. When we redecorate our home, we might take a picture from one room and put it in the next, or a knick-knack from one room to the next, or maybe it's seasonal. I have a fall tablecloth that I'm going to put on my table until the fall, and then I have one for Christmas. So sometimes just changing up, putting a new tablecloth on your table and a new centerpiece makes it look like a whole new dining room set. Change things around a little bit, rearrange the furniture. and just using what you have in your home, and all of a sudden you can make your home look, oh, it's like a fresh look, versus you going out and maybe necessarily buying a new item for the home. Number 4, swap, when you can swap for an item. I've got a video coming up next week. We're excited about it. You might all go, I don't know. I think you'll enjoy it. But we're swapping one item in our home with someone else for a similar item. But you got to come back next week and see. I'm really excited about it. It just happened to come up in conversation, and we're kind of like, you want to swap? So we're swapping, and that again is coming up next week. But what can you swap out that you have with someone else for something that they have? Instead of you spending money, you get what you need, they get what they want, and the rest is history. Number 5, buy used when possible and save the difference. Do you have to go out and buy a brand new, spanking new car right off the parking lot of the dealer? Can you buy a used car? Now, I'm not saying buy an old jalopy. Maybe that's what you have, that you can, maybe that's what you have to get because you can afford that. But if you can afford to buy used, now I used a car, that's a big item, but anything. You can go thrift shopping and you can buy an appliance used. Maybe you want a bread machine and you're like, oh, this year I'm going to make homemade bread. I'm going to do it. Well, why go out and buy a brand new bread machine when you can go to the thrift shop and they're a dime a dozen? You can get them for $5 or less at most thrift stores, because people like us bought a bread machine, said we're going to use it, used it once or twice, or they got it as a Christmas gift and they're like, I don't want a bread machine, and they put it in the thrift store. Number 6, ask yourself pointed questions. Do I really need this? Do I really like this? Do I really want this? Just question. When your money mom tells you that all the time, she's trying to be better with her money and wiser with her money. She questions herself, do I need it? So that might be an option for you there. Number 7, sell first and then buy. My husband and I have decided we've been trying to sell things. So if we want a new couch, new to us, we still might be getting a used one, but maybe the couch we have, there's nothing wrong with it. We're just tired of the color, the style, whatever. Well, we'll sell our couch first and then take that money to put toward the item we want to buy. Number 8, shop for free. What do you mean shop for free? Well, a lot of times we'll hit a garage sale and at the end of the day they have boxes marked free items. They're just getting rid of it. It's the end of the day, they want to get rid of it. Maybe there's some things you can get, maybe, baking items, all kinds of things that you can find in there. So that's one way. There's a lot of groups on like Facebook and other online groups where they're free swaps and people will just post. I've seen furniture, hutches, and dining room sets, yes, and all kinds of other things that people are just like, can't be bothered selling it. I just want to get rid of it. It's free. Take it. You just have to pick it up. So maybe look for those things that you want that are the bigger ticket items and see what you can get for free. Also, ask friends. I'll post things on Facebook all the time. Looking for yada, 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 whatever that might be. I'm looking for a new dining room set. Anybody have any that they want to swap, that they're selling cheap, whatever the case might be. But a lot of times you put that out there and somebody says, I have a dining room set sitting in my basement. If you can haul it away, it's yours for free. So try and get some freebies. Another thing would be use up every last bit. So I used to laugh at my mother because my mom would take her spaghetti sauce jar. We always got ragu, and she'd, pour it out into the pot to warm up. And then she'd put the lid on and she'd turn the jar upside down. And she would get the last little bit that would drip down. She'd probably get another inch of sauce. And I, as a kid, I'm like, Mom, why do we have to be so cheap? And she said, we're not being cheap. We're, being wise with our money, and there's more in there. Or she'd put some water in there and shake it up. And then I watched my mother-in-law do the same thing. And she would use up every last bit, and she'd get like the ranch dressing, and there'd be that little bit, but she'd have to spread it over the whole family salad. So she would put some milk in there and shake that up. And the salad dressing might be a little bit thinner, but it still had good flavor. And it covered the whole salad, and the whole family got to eat. So that was number 10, but I have 2 bonus ones for you. Number 11, stay organized. The biggest fault I have found with myself in overspending money is that, oh, I know I have one of those somewhere. I can't remember, so let me just buy another one and we'll find the other one. Now that's fine on certain items. You know, maybe it's a package of crackers or something that you can't find it right away, but you'll find it and then you'll use it up. But there are other things, maybe an appliance or a pair of shoes, I don't know, something that really, did you have to buy that? Could you have just been organized enough to know where the first item was, that you didn't have to spend that extra money? And number 12, as a bonus, buy out of season. I've heard Jan from New York City talk about this. I do the same thing. So at the end of Christmas, we'll buy our Christmas lights. At the end of Christmas, we might buy extra Christmas ornaments. At the end of winter, we'll buy winter clothing. At the end of summer, we'll buy these summer clothing. I won't wear it for a whole season. I won't wear it for a whole year until that season comes around. But we'll stock up on the stuff when it's 90% off. You know, you can get stuff really, really, really cheap. I hope those tips help you. We are on a new journey. We're in a new season. We have started our new year. We have so many things going on in our household. My fingers, I told my husband, are just tingling with excitement of lots of fresh new ideas and things we want to incorporate, things we've started, projects we're working on. That's not to say life is perfect. I have another video coming out just to share with you that sometimes the face you see, you think they got it all together and their life is fine. And then you look behind the scenes to realize they are living the same life as you, just differently, but we don't always share everything publicly with you. But I do have a video coming out next week to share some of my inside things, the inside stuff happening in the Wilson household that is not necessarily, ooh, this is wonderful and great. We've had some hardships over the past 2 weeks, some things that we're going through, and just some weird, wacky things that we're going through as well next week. Thanks for coming over. We'll chat in those comments, and I'll catch you on the next video.